Hi, I'm David Meniane from carparts.com and welcome to The Engine. Today I'm going to be talking to Nathan Martin, our DC Director for Virginia. Welcome, Nate.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thanks for coming. It's good to see you, finally.
Definitely. Yes, it's been a long time in coming.
So let's talk about your background. Where are you from? What's your story?
So my background, been in supply chain warehousing almost 25, 28 years. Right out of college, got into manufacturing, kind of enjoyed it, working with people. And so about 10 years after that, got into supply chain warehousing, and the story's been running ever since. It's been a great ride, and so great fit for car parts, being able to take my background and come and help the team, and I think I'm fitting in quite well, hopefully.
Absolutely. Well, you've been at the company for almost 18 months?
Almost 18 months.
I think it's safe to say you've had a huge impact on the DC in Virginia and the whole network. So what was the DC like when you showed up, and what's it like right now?
So DC, past and present, I was DK's first hire. So team went through somewhat of a reorganization. Team started off pretty strong, and we held the belt for quite a while and was doing well. And towards the end of the year, we had some tough times in Virginia. Of course, on the calls, we get talking about, hey, it's a tough week. Yeah, it was a tough week. We had quite a few of those tough weeks. And my mantra was that we're just not going to quit, right? And I think it's, you speak volume to that. And so we got the building turned around, got right leadership in place, hired, got good training from the network. Different resources from around the network came and helped the building, and we're off and running. So we ended on a high note last year and still rolling. Haven't looked back.
Let's talk about the belt. What is it for people who don't know?
Okay.
And what does it mean for you? And what does it mean for all of us?
So the belt was introduced from DK, being able to measure the DCs against themselves. Everything from safety to performance, financials, and SLAs of inbound and outbound. So it's a whole variety of categories that measures the DC. So each week we gain points from the scorecard in each category. So it's your job as a director to make sure to say, hey, I got to win. So where we winning? If not, we got to get this certain areas fixed if we're not winning. So at the end of the month, whichever DC wins the most wins the belt.
We have 5 DCs. All of them are eligible for the belt.
That is correct.
You seem to be winning
Yes.
the majority of the time.
I do.
I want to know why.
Follow the process. One thing that's really helped the DC and Virginia, we have great leadership in place that was hired, and I think we really do a good job taking care of. I think that's what makes that building run. My job is to make sure that I'm providing the resources that they need, keeping the employees safe at all times, and then we just go. Our associates in Virginia are very, very happy. The associates are very happy.
So there is a big focus on safety across the network, but every time I have a conversation with you, it's always the first topic.
Yeah.
I guess why?
It's a good question. So safety, I think, is very important. I think it speaks to how well the DC is being well kept. I think the employees are our most valuable asset, and I treat them that way. So safety kind of just reassures the associates that we're concerned about them, make sure that we're doing the right things.
I always like to say that you can't run a company behind a desk, and I know that's also one of your mantras. Like, you spend a lot of time on the floor. How much of your day would you say is spent on the floor of the DC versus, behind a desk? I'm
not one of those leaders that like to lead behind closed doors. So my first task when I come in and speak to everyone and I'm off to the floor, hey, good morning. I'm going to social like everyone else in the building. So I treat everyone that way, and I think it's important. Yeah, titles doesn't really make things happen in the building.
We like to say that we run a supply chain company as much as we are a technology or marketing company, and you're a big part of the supply chain team. What is it like being part of that team?
Being part of the team is phenomenal. It's quite challenging, yeah, and definitely rewarding, especially when we talk about the belt again and being very competitive team. We're a very high performance team. I think that we will do what's required to make sure we win, but I think we do it the right way, and that's what's important.
Yeah, we talk a lot about how competitive the team is. Yet you guys are always working together.
We do. Our teamwork is what allows the network to be successful. Here in Virginia, it's my job to make sure that the building's running, but it's important to make sure that if someone is having some difficult times, which I remember those days when I needed some help, and so I never forget that. I think it's, if my building's running well, how can I help somewhere else? VA has sent additional team members to help in different facilities, and we'll continue to support the network. I think it's important. It's one team, one dream.
What's interesting is every time I talk to you, you have the same demeanor. Whether you're under a lot of pressure or you're doing extremely well, whether you have the belt or not the belt, you always have like that smile on your face and ready to get after it. Like, where does that come from?
So I think I'm calm by nature. I'm a really friendly person, and I take great pride in how I got into where I am today. And I think that's what wins a lot. And I'm actually the same at home. I don't switch gears. I'm the exact same. but I can be very competitive when needed.
We've been investing in our supply chain, and the company has grown tremendously. So over the last 18 months, has your job evolved?
It has, because I believe that I remember the Virginia facility, we were Monday through Friday. I wasn't shipping a lot at the time, and now we're 24/7 for the most part, and a significant volume every week consistently from the inbound and outbound side. The building's flowing quite well, so yes, definitely a big change.
And what's next for you? So the company is growing. What does that mean for you?
Well, I guess as the company grows, I just want to continue to be a major player. I want to make sure that I'm team oriented, and I take great pride in making sure that my contributions are a part of what we need to do to be successful.
I consider you kind of more of a special ops guy, where we put you in a situation and you just figure it out and make the best of it. An opportunity in the company came up to build an entire facility from scratch. What does that mean for you, and where do you fit in that overall strategy?
The overall strategy of building a DC from ground up is very exciting. I'm very excited. I think that being able to take what we need as an organization to go to the new facility, to do the startup and to do the hiring, develop the correct talent in the building, I'm the guy for the job. Yeah, so I was excited when an opportunity arises, for sure. Yeah.
You talked about being in charge. It kind of makes me think of the concept of ownership and extreme ownership, which we talk about all the time. What does that mean for you?
The ownership means to me that you need to be accountable for what happens, and I think it's very important not to lose focus of that.
So in the spirit of ownership, we played paintball this morning.
We did.
And I felt like you were specifically targeting me on the field. Was it personal, or was it all business?
All business.
All business.
All business, yeah. So I think folks look at me, I'm really laid back. When it's game on, it's game on. So it's, you're on the other side, you're the enemy. So I got to get you.
Yeah, I felt it. All right, Nathan, it was a great conversation. Thanks for coming today.
Thank you so very much, David. Appreciate it.